Yeah, watching this thing form right in front of my eyes. Very neatly divided, you know, ripples in the clouds. Very neat. Of course, the chemtrail after chemtrail keeps coming through that way. The sky is totally white. We can see there's one or two clouds floating around. There's a cloud. You can see it's a different color than the sky and the material they're leaving in the sky. This thing is getting more defined by the second. So they're hitting the sky with something. Yep, and we can see right under it, there's clouds being pushed together, or material being pushed together. I hate to say clouds. And that's forming right before my eyes as well. That wasn't there when I first saw the ripples, which it's only been about 2 minutes of looking at it. So this thing is forming right before our eyes, getting pushed together. I see a second row of ripples popping up right here, right above the other set. You know, nobody looks at the sky anymore. Never seen these ripples growing up as a kid. It's a very rare phenomenon to have something like that start appearing. Meanwhile, we see it every day now. It must be due to climate change, I'm sure.
And I was just glancing up at the sky, and it was one of those days where the clouds were in lines. You know, you sometimes see very neatly arrayed lines of clouds, and I realised that actually there's a really nice simple piece of physics which explains why you sometimes get the clouds in lines like that. You find it particularly if there's a mountain downstream from the mountain. If you've got air blowing over the mountain, you'll find these lines of cloud.
It's Sunday the 7th of August 2016. This is live now this morning. I just wanted to point this out, only a short video. The frequencies we're seeing over the UK and Ireland, in fact the whole of the UK and Ireland, there are others just round London not showing up. What you're seeing here, they say is the wind close to the earth, which affects the cloud formations. It's bullshit. These are frequencies because when I speed this up you'll see that the clouds are actually stationary, so as the cloud passes through the frequency area it's formed and then it disappears, then it forms and disappears. In fact, look at the areas here where you can see the EMF and the microwaves coming out, which let's just speed this up and watch what happens. They are stationary, exactly taking on the form of the frequencies, and you can see the pulses. There are NEXRADs here in Dublin, there's one in Belfast, there's NEXRADs all over the UK, well documented, all pinpointed, as well as much more powerful equipment that they're using. So anybody having head pains, whistling in their heads, look no further.
I see a second row of ripples popping up right here, right above the other set. You know, nobody looks at the sky anymore. Never seen these ripples growing up as a kid. It's a very rare phenomenon to have something like that start appearing. Meanwhile, we see it every day now. It must be due to climate change, I'm sure. So that cloud below, it's getting pretty defined. It's almost as complete as the natural cloud that's grayish brown, because it reflects light differently because it's different material. And if I look hard, I could see these lines showing up in numerous places, and they go all different directions. It's one thing if they're all going kind of in the same direction, but you'll see they go all different directions. Now there's lines showing up to the right of this set. Here's another set of lines showing up here. Right as you sit there, you can watch this stuff just start appearing in the sky within minutes. I saw some towards the south, but I don't see them right now. sky is totally full. So the only thing that should probably be here is just this cloud in the center. The rest of whatever's going on is not natural. This is getting so defined now at this point. It's laughable. Oh, that plane. Getting the Zika mosquitoes biting me here. Oh, we can see here, I don't know what's going on up there. Nice line, reverse chemtrail line running through the clouds there. I don't know if the plane passed through it or what. And you can see you got the line showing up here too. There's some here. You know, this is totally artificial what's going on. You can see way out there, there's actual cumulus-like cloud. Nice defined edges. So why is there a total background of white and these frequency lines showing up when there's nice defined puffy cumulus clouds? Let's see if I can get these other ones here. Oh, there's lines showing up everywhere. Look at this. So there's heavy manipulation going on in the sky. There's two different sets of material going on up there. I'm sure it's all tainted in some way. And two different sets of materials, two different skies most of the time. A regular one with regular clouds, and then a backdrop of something else. It's not rocket science. There's people still defending it. One genius on YouTube, oh, they would never do that. Even if they wanted to do it, they would probably never do it. Why would they never do it? You got no reasoning for your saying just because you think they wouldn't do it to you, which is pretty ridiculous. This Paris Climate Agreement, COP21, is their answer to addressing climate change. And they're not meeting their goals. They're not going to meet their goals. There's still countries opening up coal plants, so their goals cannot be met. So their only other option is geoengineering. So to say that they wouldn't do it is just total ignorance. You know, see the video on my homepage. You got Ken Caldera saying, well, if we did it and didn't tell the people and then told them years after the fact that it was for their own good, they'd probably be okay with it. And then he says most people really wouldn't care anyway because they're busy watching TV and they're not really concerned about science. So that's what people are putting their faith in. You got to be retarded to put your faith in someone that's telling you to your face that they would do it and not tell you. And because it's for your own good, you know, like the nanny state. Well, we did it for your own good, but we knew you wouldn't like it if we told you, so we didn't tell you. And your kid has autism now, and you got Alzheimer's, but otherwise you would have been dead from climate change and CO2 poisoning. Totally ridiculous. Geoengineering is the stupidest idea in the world. If we only had one heat source, like the sun, then it might be reasonable in some fashion. But we got two heat sources, one being the center of the planet, which is a molten core, where we have heat pushing out through volcanoes and whatnot. So if you have heat in the center of the planet, trying to escape through the planet and diffuse itself, and then get trapped in this layer, artificial layer of geoengineering, you're hotboxing the Earth. For lack of a better term, you're hotboxing the Earth. Yeah, you're blocking some sunlight, but you're trapping heat that's pumping 24 hours a day. The sun isn't even pushing heat 24 hours a day because at nighttime we don't have sunlight. So we got the core of the Earth pushing heat 24 hours a day, and we're blocking it 24 hours a day. Meanwhile, you got the sun pushing heat, what, 10, 12 hours a day, and we're blocking it for that time frame. But the core of the Earth, we're trapping in 24 hours a day. That heat, tries to escape itself. Just like it does when it comes through the volcanoes. It's escaping through the surface of the planet. So it's emanating from the center out to the crust. So as it emanates out from the center to the crust, and then through our atmosphere and tries to escape through space, it gets trapped in the upper atmosphere because they're adding material up there. Even water vapor, contrail water vapor traps heat. It's a known fact. Contrail water vapor exacerbates the effects of CO2. It's a known fact. So they're really just doing something totally ridiculous. Whether they're trying to kill the planet on purpose, I don't know. Or they're just to make as much money as they can off it. Or they're just following orders from the leaders who have plans to go to Mars or some shit. I don't know. But it's the stupidest idea in the world. Supposedly, if we can go into space, you can put a solar mirror up in space and block some of the sunlight. And not poison every inch of the planet, the water, the soil, the air, you name it. But Ken Caldera says that's not practical to put a solar mirror in space. Why is that not practical? To do something that would have a non-toxic effect that could be removed and the program could be dismantled if need be. If it's not working out properly, you can't dismantle this program. Once this stuff is in the sky, it's there. You can't dismantle it. So that's the most idiotic thing, is to do something that's irreversible and not be sure of the side effects. You know, the Earth's in a constant state of change, so they're going to install a program that they think is going to stay constant, while the planet's always in a state of change. Totally idiotic. These people, one day, phew, hopefully they get their due. Hopefully they get their due. Because right now they're getting paid big money, I'll tell you that. Big money. Autism, Wigginton said autism's up 20,000% in the past 4 decades. Name something you can do and increase it by 20,000%. Can you put your money somewhere and increase it 20,000%? Probably not. So at the rate stuff is expanding, and autism is still expanding, you know, there's major situations going on. So it's not the vaccines, it's not geoengineering, and everyone will tell you it's not this and it's not the fluoride, but they won't tell you what's doing it. No one wants to say what's causing it, because this stuff is happening hard and fast. So you want to keep arguing it's not depopulation or this or that. Well, the formula is certainly working out to be perfect for that. So I'm not going to say whether that's the goal or that's the side effect or what it is. But there's major health issues going on in this country. Respiratory is expanding. Cigarette smoking is down in every country, yet respiratory disease is increasing. Why is that? We're reducing emissions in all of these countries, but respiratory is increasing. Why is that? You know, no one wants to put any of these things together. They just want to pick one thing and say, well, they wouldn't do that to us. Obama didn't say he was going to do it, so they wouldn't do it to us. Meanwhile, they're hinting every which way. The CIA is talking about it. You got universities studying the health effects, studying the methods of doing it. So we can see the color of this cloud here. Taking the light, taking the sunlight, it's getting like yellowish. Meanwhile, this other filth up here is white. It's getting the same sunlight. Why is this yellow and this is staying white? So it's just filthy, and this in question material doesn't move. That cloud is taken off, this yellow cloud, it's almost out of sight. All of this material here doesn't move. You know, add that to the list of what the idiots need to explain, because they won't do it. They won't do it because they can't do it. And they put out stupid studies debunking chemtrails by looking at photographs. I mean, how do you do something, debunking something, looking at a photograph? That's just utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. Enough of this filth.